Good afternoon, and thank you for your time and patience. My name is Mathew Shurka. I'm representing the National Center for Lesbian Rights, which is a legal organization working to protect the civil and human rights of LGBTQ people. I'm also the co-founder of our Born Perfect campaign, a national campaign representing survivors of conversion therapy across the country, including myself, a survivor of conversion therapy. Again, thank you for the opportunity to express our strong opposition to this bill in its entirety. However, I will focus specifically on the section of the bill that removes all protections from so-called conversion therapy. Our team has worked to protect LGBTQ youth by supporting legislation protecting those youth from conversion therapy. Thus far, 20 US states and over 120 cities and municipalities have passed such legislation to protect LGBTQ minors. Each of these laws have passed with bipartisan support. Out of the 20 states, 8 Republican governors have signed the passage of these laws, an almost 50-50 split of bipartisan support nationwide, including Governor Sununu. New Hampshire passed a ban on conversion therapy to codify an already understood issue with extraordinary amounts of evidence that any attempts of conversion therapy is harmful, fraudulent, and may cause lifelong damage and potential suicide. Personally, I am one of 700,000 people living in the United States today that have experienced conversion therapy. That number is as reported by the UCLA Williams Institute. My personal experience in conversion therapy unfortunately aligns with the many harms reported by the National Mental Health and Medical Associations. I was in conversion therapy for 5 years, from ages 16 through 21. Each of my therapists was a licensed professional. When I came out to my father made it clear how much he loved me, that I had nothing to fear. Yet my father began to search for a therapist to understand what my coming out may mean for myself and for my family. In meeting with a licensed professional, again, this is how the bill currently exists in New Hampshire, my father was told that being gay was nothing more than a mental illness, that same-sex attraction can be cured, and that all people are innately heterosexual. The therapist further explained that childhood traumas were the cause of me being gay, but further for the entire LGBTQ community, and that if I went to therapy and healed those childhood traumas, my same-sex attraction would disappear. For my father, this was a lifeline moment that he felt that he could possibly give me a different outcome instead of being gay. Luckily for me, I didn't have any significant childhood traumas, which puzzled the therapist I was working with. Which puzzled the therapist that I was working with, and so their diagnosis stated that I was too close to my mother and my 2 sisters and not close enough to my father. My first treatment required that I not speak to my mother and 2 sisters, which lasted 3 years. I was told this would ensure that I would not pick up any effeminate behaviors. I would not see women or the girls at school as my peers, and that to learn that men are my peers. While I truly believed conversion therapy was working, I became depressed and suicidal in year 2 out of 5. When my therapist believed I was ready to engage with women sexually, I was instructed step-by-step how to engage with women in my environment, despite if I led to believe our attractions or love may be real or not. I suffered extreme anxiety around that, and I was not able to sexually perform. In this moment, my therapist prescribed me Viagra through my father in order to boost my confidence as a young man. I did not suffer from erectile dysfunction. I was a healthy, young 17-year-old boy. During those 5 years, my parents spent a total of $35,000 on my conversion therapy. I dropped out of college due to my depression and anxiety. The entire ordeal was artificial, humiliating, and demeaning. Every licensed therapist knows, or should know, this is a dangerous and fraudulent practice. Anyone who carries a license in the state of New Hampshire knows that their educational curriculum, those requirements to obtain a state license, that conversion therapy has no significant backing.
Thank you. If you could come to the conclusion. Thank you.
Yes. This is a law that already exists in New Hampshire. By repealing the law as it is stated, you will be allowing therapists who are licensed by the state's responsibility to protect youth, to practice. 1, is something that is extremely dangerous, and 2, fraudulently make money off of those profits. Thank you for your time.